Okay, so I thought I'd show you, since I just got a brand new one of these Airtight palettes, I thought I'd show you, I'll tell you a little bit about it and then how I put my paints in it. I already have a couple for my gouache, for all my favorite colors, but since I bought the acryl gouache paint, I wanted to devote one of these to it. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens because, of course, the gouache can be washed with water and cleaned out completely. Acryl gouache, it's like putting acrylic in this, and so it will have to be kept, you know, moist. Like the gouache, if I'm painting the palette, if I'm using my gouache palette and I, you know, leave it for half an hour and go somewhere and come back, no problem. I just add a little bit of water if I need to. I won't be able to do that with this. I'll have to be really good about keeping it sealed, and we'll see what happens and how well the paints stay in here. So I thought I'd take some of my favorite colors, and this Turner brand is pretty liquidy. It's not super thick the way Winsor Newton is, so it won't have to be, as much water won't have to be added and stirred. But when I do want to add water, I like to use these, and I think I don't know if I've got the link. I have the link to just about everything on my website, SuzanneAllard.com, and then you go to supplies. But these things are amazing. They're pipettes, and I'll put the link on there, but to add water, they're the best. You're always adding water, but you could also use, if you have an old eyedropper thing and just put water in it that's empty, that'll work too. Just something that allows you to get the water in there. You're not trying to pour water in there because that's no bueno. You'll end up with too much water. Okay, so I'm gonna start with white because I probably use more white than anything. Yeah, see how liquidy that is? And since this is acrylic, the acryl gouache, I'm not gonna put too much in just because I wanna see, you know, how it works. And if it gets gummy, then I can wash them out before they dry. So they dissolve with water unless they're dry. That's the difference. Once they're dry, they're dry. All right, so let's pick out some other colors. I'm gonna pick some of my favorites that I tend to use on everything. I like this blue-black. I've got another video where I went through kind of a review on this acryl gouache, so take a look at that if you want more information on that. And, oh yeah, this color, gold. It actually is a really pretty gold, which is kind of unusual. So we're gonna put a little bit of that in there. Isn't that beautiful? And I guess since I do want to keep them from drying out, I'm probably going to add more water to these than my gouache, and we'll see if that helps. All right, let's go with some yellow. And then my fresh green, one of my favorites. And you guys know I do a lot of color mixing, so these obviously will get mixed on the palette or on the paper. But sometimes I mix a color, if there's a color I use a lot, like black blue, which I do, and this is, even though this is called black blue, it's not black enough for what I want. So I will be adding some black to it right in here so that it's the shade that I want. In fact, what I'll do, I think, is put some of the plain black blue, and then I'll add a little bit of black to this one here on the end, and go ahead and mix that. And I'll show you my little handy dandy mixing tool. Why is black paint always so hard to find? It's the strangest thing. There it is. It's just the blacks and the whites always get lost. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of black in there, and we'll stir that up and see if it's the shade of black blue that I like. So this, I will add the link to these too. They're actually, let me show you the rest of them. They're actually for carving or shaping like sculpey clay, but I love them for stirring because, you know, I'd really beat up my brushes by stirring, and I don't use great brushes, but I don't want to beat them up. And plus you end up with all this paint inside the brush and, you know, wasting paint. So I picked these up recently, and they're rubber and flexible, and they work really well. This one even shaped like these little containers to get in there and really stir. So that's my new stirring tool. Of course, not necessary, just kind of a fun thing that I found if you're gonna do as much stirring as I do. Otherwise, just do what I've done for years and use a brush, a cheapy brush. Let's see here. I don't think it's not quite dark enough, so I'm gonna add a little more black. I'm trying not to gum up the sides either on this palette, even though I'm sure I will over time. Just because this is acrylic, I figure the less I have it all over the place, the better. And that's why I'm not also going to put a ton of paint inside these. Okay, so that's more the shade. And so that's what I'm going to do, is go forward, fill them in, add a little bit of water, stir them, you know, clean my stir another color. I'll probably stir similar colors so that I don't make a big mess. And then I will seal this up, and that'll be my new acrylic gouache palette. The colors are very similar to the gouache, so I will label it. So that, since it's the same size, and I'll label this one gouache and this one acrylic. All right, go make something, have some fun, do something creative. See you next time. I'm back because I wanted to show you how it seals. I forgot that part. That's the most exciting part. Okay, so it has a silicone, it's sticky silicone rubber part. So you put that down, and then you press it down, and then listen, all the sides lock. And then you have to make sure you've locked it, or especially, like I said, with this acrylic one. And the good thing about it is if you put the top on wrong, it won't lock. It won't, like, because I've done it before, you put it down this way and they don't line up. So it makes you lock it correctly. Okay, have fun. Again, the link to this is on my website. I get it on Amazon. Okay, bye-bye.